There's breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. A Pulwama 2.0, a Pulwama-style terror attack has been averted by security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. Incidentally, recoveries of a large quantity of explosives and ammunition was made not far from Letpura in Pulwama. From what we are now being told, 52 kilograms of explosives and 50 detonators were recovered, all very neatly packed by terrorists, and these explosives could have been used. Intelligence agencies seem to indicate that the aim of terrorists was to target another military convoy in Jammu and Kashmir. Is this then an indicator that India is facing challenges on multiple fronts at the line of actual control in Ladakh with China, line of control with Pakistan, and the enemy within, terrorists who are now trying to use explosives to target security forces? I'm Gaurav Sawant. This India Today special broadcast comes to you from Ladakh. We'll get you details on the story, but as always, let's get started with the headlines. On India First, I want to revisit our top story, and that is the recovery of 52 kilograms of explosives, very neatly packed in small packets of 125 grams each, and the recovery of 50 detonators in Kashmir Valley. And this has been found not far from Pulwama. Remember, Pulwama was where 40 brave CRPF personnel were targeted by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists from Pakistan, using a local Kashmiri terrorist as the suicide bomber. But the bomb that time had been put together by a Pakistani terrorist. But for more on this recovery, I quickly want to cut across to India Today's editor defense, Abhishek Bhalla. Abhishek, the army chief is in North Kashmir. The situation both along the line of actual control and the line of control remains extremely tricky. And then this recovery, what more can you add?
Gaurav, we often hear about the 2.5 front war, and this is a period that, the Indian forces are going through this in reality. There is a lot of aggression at the line of actual control that we've been reporting from here in Ladakh. At the same time, at the line of control, there is action almost every day. There are ceasefire violations, and with this big seizure, massive seizure of explosives, more than 50 kilos of explosives have been seized, 50 detonators. What is being suspected is that this was another Pulwama kind of attack that was being planned. So it's very clear that the Indian forces, the Indian security establishment has a lot of challenges at its hand. And at a time when there is belligerence from the Chinese side at the line of actual control, there is another front which is very active at the line of control and also in mainland Kashmir. And that's the reason why the army chief was here in Ladakh a few days ago, visiting forward locations, getting an assessment of what the situation is. And now he is there in North Kashmir, got a sense of what's happening at the line of control.
Let me quickly bring in Colonel Rohit Dev. He's a national security expert. He's commanded his battalion in very difficult situations. Colonel Dev, your appreciation, are we already looking at 2.5 fronts being activated?
Gaurav, that is exactly the case, and you don't expect anything lesser. In fact, it's 3.5. The third one now is COVID, which is a national challenge. And you imagine the troops who are there getting rotated, redeployed, going from peace to field locations. All challenges are also applicable to our forces, the quarantine measures and everything else. So we are fighting a very tough time as soldiers, and kudos to our soldiers who are coping up with the LC, they're coping up with LAC, and they're coping up with internal security in Kashmir and other regions of the country. So this is going to only continue and escalate till about November, December, till the passes close. And then you will have some sort of a closure coming in and freezing of action both at the LC and the LAC. And I'm quite sanguine that the forces will be a little better at that moment. But we have to cater for all these fronts, and especially when we have moved our reserves to the LAC from
there is clear and present danger. Absolutely. Reserves have now been moved to the line of actual control. Reserves also activated along the line of control, given Pakistan and China may collude at least in one part of Ladakh, which is the Daulat Beg Oldie sector and the Siachen Glacier. But for the moment, I want to shift focus and take you to Parliament, where Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh very emphatically told China to back off. He said China's efforts to change line of actual control unilaterally will not succeed. He appealed to all members of Parliament to stand together. And what was heartening to see was members cutting across party lines support the army and the government in this very difficult time as India takes on a very belligerent China at the LAC.
मैं आपके माध्यम से देशवासियों को यह विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि हमारे आर्म फोर्सेस के जवानों का जोश एवं हौसला बुलंद है सभापति महोदय, और हमारे जवान किसी भी संकट का सामना करने के लिए पूरी तरह से दृढ़ प्रतिज्ञ हैं। और इस बार भी सीमा पर हमारे वीरों ने किसी भी प्रकार की आक्रामकता दिखाने के बजाय धैर्य और साहस का परिचय दिया है। हमारे यहाँ कहा गया है कि साहसे खलु स्त्री वसति, यानी साहस में ही विजय स्त्री का निवास होता है, और हमारे सैनिक तो साहस के साथ साथ संयम, शक्ति, शौर्य और पराक्रम की जीती जागती प्रतिमूर्ति है सभापति महोदय।
A second warning to China within a space of 3 days. With our forces on high alert along the LAC, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, in his statement in the Rajya Sabha, hinted the standoff with the hostile neighbour could be a long-drawn affair.
उनके लिए बर्फीली ऊंचाइयों के अनुरूप विशेष प्रकार के गर्म कपड़े, उनके रहने का स्पेशलाइज्ड टेंट तथा उनके सभी अस्त्र शस्त्र व गोला बारूद की पर्याप्त व्यवस्था की गई है। महोदय, हमारे जवानों का हौसला बुलंद है।
Unlike the Lok Sabha, the opposition were allowed to raise questions in the Rajya Sabha.
As on middle of April, Galvan Valley was never a disputed site. Even from the Galvan Valley, after our soldiers are now not allowed to patrol up to the point which they used to patrol. In Pangong area also, more than 8 kilometers area, they are not allowing us to patrol.
मैं ये स्पष्ट कर देना चाहता हूँ, लड़ाई भी तो इसीलिए हो रही है, फेसाब तो इसीलिए होता है। भारत के सेना के जवानों को पेट्रोलिंग करने से दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं रोक सकती। यदि हमारे जवानों ने अपना बलिदान दिया है तो इसीलिए बलिदान दिया है, और इसमें कोई परिवर्तन इस पेट्रोलिंग पैटर्न में नहीं होगा। मैं अपने सम्मानित पूर्व रक्षा मंत्री एंटनी साहब को यकीन दिलाना चाहता हूँ।
The opposition, even as they asked questions, made one thing clear: they will back the government on any move it takes against China.
हमारा जो संपर्क है फौज के साथ, देश की एकता और अखंडता के लिए जो उन्होंने कुर्बानी दी है, हम उस कुर्बानी में बराबर की उनके साथ कुर्बानी देने के लिए तैयार हैं। इसलिए अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से मैं ये कहूंगा कि हम इस मुद्दे को लेकर, चाइना के मुद्दे को लेकर सरकार के साथ बराबर खड़े हैं।
Cutting across party lines, MPs expressed their support to the government in the ongoing standoff with China. Even the Congress party, which staged a walkout in Lok Sabha, today managed to seek clarifications in Rajya Sabha. Overall, it was a better show by the government, which managed to send out a larger message that the Parliament of India stands united with its brave heart at LAC in Ladakh. With camera person Pradeep Gupta, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
So a stern message to China from the Parliament, a stern message to China at the line of actual control. A new weapon of war undergoing trials in the high altitude area. And this is the 8-wheeled armored personal carrier. Remember, India has been using the tracked version of the APC. This is the 8-wheeled version amphibious vehicle armed with anti-tank guided missiles manufactured indigenously by the Defence Research and Development Organization. If these trials are successful, what impact will this vehicle have in this battle zone? Let's find out. The first glimpse of the armored personal carrier for infantry troops at the Leh airfield. Conceptualized by the Defence Research and Development Organization, the Wheeled Armoured Amphibious Platform is a multi-purpose troop carrier for reconnaissance and assault operations. The DRDO-designed armoured personnel carrier was airlifted to Leh for high-altitude winter trials. Now, this vehicle will undergo very extensive trials, not just here in Leh at an altitude of 11,500 feet, but also at Depsang in DBO at much higher altitudes in extreme cold climate to see how the engine and systems on board perform. Though the Army has been operating the tracked version of the armoured personnel carrier for decades, and it is even manufactured in India, the wheeled version comes with multiple advantages, especially in this high altitude terrain. The obvious difference between the wheeled vehicles and the tracked vehicles is that unlike the metal tracks on tanks, wheeled vehicles have multi-axle wheels, enabling them more agility and multi-terrain mobility.
In fact, this is one area which is very good for Armour Go, and it permits the armoured personnel carriers. We have a choice of a tracked or the wheeled. In fact, here what matters is the speed. And this area is actually very suitable for wheeled personnel carrier, and is also suitable for the light tanks. And the existing tanks that we've got are even more powerful in this scenario. So I think we got to make best use of what we have. And I think the wheeled personnel carrier will achieve an excellent advantage in this area.
The wheeled version is lighter and can be airlifted on board the C-17 Globemaster and underslung Chinook helicopters. The wheeled versions can move faster and can effectively be deployed both for reconnaissance operations and for quick redeployment of frontline fighting soldiers.
More importantly, in India, with the DRDO and Tata's coming together, Kessler or WAP, whatever you name it now, is under trials, and it has gone through in the area of Sikkim earlier, Ahmednagar firing ranges. It is being now under trial in Ladakh, and I'm quite sure it's a very potent platform because it has got multiple options of turret replacements and 8x8 vehicle, all-terrain capable, and it will be a very important vehicle in the used by the military, and it can be used by the infantry for carriage of troops. Section +2 can go inside that vehicle.
The new armor fighting vehicle can carry up to 12 soldiers, including the driver, and the aim of its deployment would be to ensure high mobility, firepower, and protection for troops inside the vehicle. The vehicle comes with anti-tank guided missiles and 30mm cannon. These vehicles can extensively be deployed in Chumar and Demchok in the south, in the Pengong So Lake area, the amphibious, and also on the other side in Depsang and DBO, where they'll play a very critical role, not only moving men from one place to another, but also, if required, for offensive operations and occupation of vital points and vital assets. With cameraman Kripal Singh in Ladakh, Gaurav Sawant for India Today. Colonel Rohit Dev, you've commanded a mechanized infantry unit. In your appreciation, how is the wheeled version better or different from a tracked version at these altitudes? Do they have an offensive role here?
Quite surely, Gaurav. There is no difference between a wheel and a track except the mobility factor. And these self-inflating tires, independent suspensions with a higher degree of mobility, and they have better power to weight ratio, are very apt for hilly and mountainous terrain. And the terrain obtained all along the Ladakh region and even in the central sector accords utilization of this particular equipment. One has been very closely associated in GSQRs of FICV, and I was in VRD when they had taken my inputs long time ago, and I'm quite happy to see this machine on your screen today. I had actually forgotten about it. And this machine is so capable that you can alter the turrets. What this means is that if infantry wants for troops carriage, you can have the RCS kind of a turret which has got 12.7 mm cannon, and it can take troops. If you want a BMP turret, it can also be deployed on the same platform. So just imagine the indigenization of our platforms a DRDO Tata manufactured wheeled version, a OFB Medag manufactured tracked version, and both turrets can interplay. You can have a plethora of missile systems, tandem warhead missiles. You can have active protection systems.
Can I take this a step forward, Colonel?
Please.
Okay. Colonel, permit me to ask you a question. Can we take this to the next level? China talks about light tanks. They talk about, an ability to fire rounds maybe 5 kilometers away. Can this, in a modified version, play the role of a light tank?
For sure, Gaurav. The center of gravity of this equipment and also this wheeled version, both I'm talking about the ICV BMP tracked version and this version, can take on a turret which can support a 100 mm plus kind of a gun, which is good to be used. And both can have tandem warhead missile systems which can strike up to 6 kilometers. Those trials are already on an upgrade version of the BMP. And I'm quite sure the same can be installed on even this piece of equipment. So there is a lot which can be done. And the only good part is that it's indigenous and we should press for that. And my only request through your channel to the government could be that such products should be identified up and about now, so that in the next 5 years, you can have about 1,200 to 1,500 pieces made for deployment in such sectors. We have that short window to play around with. So let's not think about, strikers and pumas of the world. Let's be indigenous and let's get this going.
Let's go big on Atmanirbhar Bharat. Let's make weapons and ammunition in India and deploy them. In case improvement is required, they can always be improved in Mark 2, 3 and 4 versions. Colonel, stay with me for a moment. India Today's Abhishek Bhalla now reports on how the Indo-Tibetan Border Police and the army are preparing for the long haul, the kind of Arctic tents that are coming in, the kind of down jackets, down trousers, snow boots that are coming in for our soldiers to stay deployed. Because remember, Rajnath Singh seemed to indicate that we're here for the long haul.
Winter is coming, and there's a storm brewing on the mountains of eastern Ladakh. With sub-zero temperatures and extremely high altitudes, surviving in these conditions is not for the faint-hearted. But with tensions with China on the brink and war clouds looming, this winter, it's not just the Indian Army, but also the Indo-Tibetan Border Police that's preparing for the long haul. With China building up its insulated huts, the ITBP-2 is well prepared. So in case you're wondering where they'll stay, this is it. But this is no usual tent.
What we are seeing here is an Arctic tent meant for heights beyond 15,000 feet. And even if temperatures dip to minus 50 degrees, troops can survive the winter. We can see this tent here. It can accommodate 8 to 10 troops. Here is a Bukhari. This can keep troops warm in addition to the layering. Water is put in here to make sure that there is enough oxygen level. This is a chimney that ensures that the smoke goes out.
But surely that won't be enough. The soldiers need multiple layers of clothing, with temperatures in eastern Ladakh usually dropping to minus 40 degrees. The ITBP Jawans will need everything from woolen socks to snow boots.
Another important thing is that warm water can be stored and it can be sipped from this sort of a straw that this rucksack has. This is what an Indian soldier deployed in eastern Ladakh in this treacherous terrain will look like. This is the equipment that has been provided. This special winter clothing and gear has been provided to each and every soldier.
With the Indian forces building big to counter and match the Chinese deployments, it's even more important that there's no shortage of mountain gear. And the ITBP is ready for that as well.
This is a very crucial piece of equipment that can pull a weight of 250 to 260 kgs. That means with this, at least 4-5 soldiers get a push to go up those heights. All this equipment that we can see here is extremely important for rock climbing.
The summer this year saw violent clashes, bullets fired for the first time in nearly 5 decades in Ladakh. And with no end to the India-China stalemate, the winter too will be tough.
There is no shortage of high-altitude equipment for the Indian forces, and along with the Indian Army, the ITBP that is also deployed in friction points is ensuring that there is enough supply of all material, be it tents or winter clothing required to survive the harsh winter in these areas. With camera person Satya, Abhishek Bhalla in Ladakh for India Today.
The situation along the line of actual control does remain very grim. Now that China has realized that India is here for the long haul, the Chinese are playing mind games and psychological warfare, quite like they did in 1962.
The silence of Ladakh's mountains, some of the quietest terrain on earth. A land where you can hear sounds for many miles around. Imagine now if this cold chill was broken with this. You wouldn't be alone if you're wondering why we're blaring Punjabi music over these pristine images of the Himalayas. Well, thank the Chinese army for that. And yes, you heard it right. On the 29th of August, after the Indian Army took aggressive preemptive actions under Operation Snow Leopard to thwart hostile Chinese actions, Chinese commanders were initially caught off guard and responded with attempted force. But when it became clear that the dominant Indian positions couldn't be dislodged, nearby Chinese posts put down their weapons and instead dusted out. 2 days later, loudspeakers were pulled out by the Chinese at the Moldo garrison, which was now in clear line of sight and striking range of new Indian positions on the mountaintops there.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.